Skill of the day. Today's skill of the day is the toes to bar. What we're going to do is we're going to work on some progressions in order to get the kipping toes to bar. We're going to work on some kipping swings. We're going to work on some kipping knee raises, small knee raises into high knee raises, into knees really tall and focus on that tuck position. Then going to work on the toe to bar itself. Like any movement though, strength is always your number one thing. So a couple of supplementary movements that we can do in order to help us with our toes to bar. Sit-ups, hollow rocks, V-ups. So they're the main three that we can do with zero equipment. Obviously a GHD sit-up and the like are really going to help as well. So let's first talk about some strengthening movements. First one is our hollow rock. So with a hollow rock, we lay down on the back. We then notice how I've got a bit of an arch here. That's normal. From there, I'm going to brace my belly, round that lower back part out, raise my heels up and my shoulder blades up. From there, I'm going to rock forward and back, holding that hollowed position throughout the movement. Right? That hollowed position is a really important position that we need to hit within the toes to bar itself. Another one is a V-up. So with a V-up, we start in that same position. We again brace up. From there, we raise up, touch the toes above the height of the hips. So notice how my shoulder blades come up off the ground, as do my hips and legs. And I meet above the height of my hips. I meet my toes above the height of my hips, keeping my legs straight, my arms straight. Now that's basically the position that we want to achieve when it comes to the toes to bar itself. Another one is a sit-up. So that's just focusing on abs into the hip flexor. So with a sit-up, we can either have our hands on our thighs and do as a strict movement all the way up though. We want our shoulders to finish over the top of our hips. We can then also use our arms for a little bit of momentum to make that movement a little bit easier. So there's some really good no equipment versions. Some other versions that we can use a pole or something like that, or some weights and hold them over our head, and we can raise that way. Again, that's specifically going to help us with our toes to bar. So there's some strengthening movements that we can do with no equipment. Now let's have a look at a kipping swing. So there's two positions we want to achieve in the kipping swing. We want to achieve a hollowed position and an arched position. And throughout this position, we must maintain an active shoulder. So active shoulder, hands on the outside of the shoulders, nice and strong through the shoulders. This is active, this is not. So we want that active shoulder position. From there, we come into hollow. We press down into the bar with our lats, bring our feet forward, and then into arch. So they're the two positions I need to hit. And then from there, we go hollow, arch, hollow, arch, hollow, arch. Nice, tight, little kipping position, maintaining tension and that global extension throughout the body so we don't break position. We can start off with kipping swings. Then what we're going to include is a kipping knee raise. So what we do then is once we come from arch into hollow, we then raise our knee up, come back to hollow before returning to arch. So let's have a look at a kipping knee raise. Active shoulder position. From there, we go arch, knee raise, knee raise. Notice how I still hit my arch and hollowed positions, but I'm raising the knees in the middle there. Notice how I keep my toes pointed to maintain that good tension throughout the body. Then from there, we can go into a higher knee raise. So that was knee above the crease of the hip. From there, we can start getting more and more height with our knees. And to do that, we also want to close off through the lats. We want to press down into the bar with our lats in order to close that position. So let's now have a look at that. Active shoulder. I'm going to start with just the normal knee raise. Then from there, I'm going to start to push down into the bar more and get further and further. And the higher up you can get, the harder you can push down with the lat, the better this movement's going to be. Then from there, once you get the height, the last thing you need to do is just add a little bit of a kick into the movement. So right at the top of that knee raise there, we're going to kick in toward the bar. Soon as we kick in toward the bar though, we got to get straight back down into hollow, arch, and straight back up. So we needed the movement to keep tension and keep the speed and power throughout the movement. So let's have a look at some toes to bar using the knee raise to kick. Then we'll have a look at it if we can keep straighter legs or more gymnastic movement. So from here, I'm going to start with my kipping swing. Then from there, knee raise. Then higher, and then into toes to bar. All right, so there's our progressions up towards a toes to bar. If you have the movement and you want to become more efficient at it, or you want to move a little bit faster, there's obviously some things you can do there, but strength is our number one go-to. Build the strength before you try kipping. Remember, kipping is not a means in which to attain a movement. Kipping is a means in which to have an already gained movement that we have the strength to do and add intensity to that movement. If you, again, are gymnastically inclined and you've got good mobility through the hamstrings, we can do a straighter leg version of the movement where the legs stay straight. That is it for the toes to bar, and that is it for today's skill of the day.